Well, my dear truth seekers, as you can see, the 47th President of the United States, Donald Trump, has failed to keep his election promise and end the conflict in Ukraine 24 hours after taking office. As you can see, 2 days have passed since the inauguration of Donald Trump, and the current conflict in Ukraine is still ongoing. By the way, watching the victorious advance of the Russian army on the battlefield, it becomes clear that Russian soldiers absolutely do not care about Donald Trump's statements regarding Ukraine and the upcoming negotiations. Russian soldiers, despite the difficult geopolitical situation in the world and the statements of the new US president, continue to liberate towns and cities in all key directions of the front, including the Kursk region. So, over the past 24 hours, Russian troops have liberated several more strategically important settlements in the Kursk and Kharkiv directions of the front. In particular, on the morning of January 22, war correspondents stated that units of the group of troops under the designation Sever had liberated the settlement of Nikolaevo Dorino, in the southwestern part of the Kursk region. Commenting on the liberation of this settlement, war correspondents noted the professional actions of the Ashurian paratroopers from the 83rd Separate Guards Airborne Assault Brigade. According to them, only thanks to the Ashurian paratroopers, this settlement was liberated from the enemy. Moreover, on January 22, the Russian army also liberated the strategically important settlement of Zapadnoy, north of Kupiansk. The liberation of this settlement indicates that Russian troops have expanded the bridgehead on the right bank of the Oskol River and approached the northern part of Kupiansk as close as possible. Currently, Russian troops are only 8 kilometers from the northern outskirts of Kupiansk. In total, over the past 24 hours, while Donald Trump was taking the oath of office and talking to reporters, Russian troops liberated 60 square kilometers of territory in the Special Military Operation Zone. Thus, Russia has once again proved that Moscow is the main winner of the current conflict, and that the Kiev regime and its Western masters will have to accept Putin's conditions, which he announced last fall. In particular, Vladimir Putin demanded the complete demilitarization and denazification of Ukraine, Kiev's refusal to join NATO, and recognition of Luhansk, Donetsk, Zaporizhia, and Kherson regions as an integral part of the Russian Federation. However, judging by recent statements by Donald Trump, the new U.S. authorities risk repeating the fate of the Biden administration and feeling all the bitterness of defeat on their own skin. In particular, a few hours ago, during an interview with American journalists, Donald Trump made it clear that Washington would make every effort to end the conflict in Ukraine exclusively according to the U.S. scenario. In particular, Donald Trump said that if Vladimir Putin does not agree to reach a deal, the United States will not only continue to arm Ukraine, but also impose new sanctions on Russia. According to Donald Trump, the Russian economy is allegedly going through hard times, and in this regard, Vladimir Putin will have to agree to Washington's terms. Thus, Donald Trump made it clear that Washington would not accept Russia's conditions on Ukraine, even despite the fact that Russian troops continue their victorious offensive on the battlefield, and the Ukrainian army is almost completely defeated. This statement by Donald Trump caused a mixed reaction among the expert community. In particular, an authoritative French expert and political scientist Tatiana Stanovaya said that Donald Trump, like his predecessor, is poorly aware of Russia's real capabilities. And therefore, the West, led by the United States, still cannot achieve any of its goals. The French expert noted that information about the Russian economy that Donald Trump had received was erroneous. According to her, currently, the Russian economy is stronger than ever, especially against the background of Western economies. Tatiana Stanovaya noted that the Russian economy is functioning perfectly and is a source of Putin's pride. Over the past 3 years, Russia's economy has become the largest in Europe, and has even entered the top 5 most powerful and largest economies in the world by GDP purchasing power parity, overtaking countries such as Germany and Japan. And this trend is growing with each new month. By the way, this fact was also recognized by the Bloomberg agency. According to American experts from Bloomberg, Russian budget revenues have reached record levels, even despite tough Western sanctions. It is reported that in December 2024, the Russian economy brought into the national treasury a record 4 trillion rubles. American experts noted that such a sharp growth in budget revenues in Russia has not been observed over the past 25 years. Thus, it can be safely assumed that Donald Trump will not be able to scare Vladimir Putin with the help of other economic sanctions. And his desire to talk to Russia from a position of strength will fail completely. Trump's second mistake is that he sincerely believes that Vladimir Putin allegedly dreams of ending the current conflict in Ukraine as soon as possible. In fact, Vladimir Putin absolutely does not care about the timing of the continuation of this war. For Putin, the most important thing is the complete expulsion of the North Atlantic Alliance and pro-Western politicians from Ukraine. For Putin, it is important that Ukraine becomes a pro-Russian country again, which will not pose a threat to the Russian-speaking population. And in order to achieve this goal, Vladimir Putin is ready to take even the most radical steps. If Donald Trump refuses Putin's terms, the Russian army will continue to absorb Ukrainian territories. This will continue until a country like Ukraine disappears from the map of the world completely. Moreover, an influential Russian politician and member of the Federation Council's Defense and Security Committee, Dmitry Rogozin, urged Donald Trump not to repeat Biden's mistakes. According to him, if Donald Trump refuses to accept Russia's terms, Moscow will have to destroy anyone in its way. I appeal to Donald Trump. You can really stop this conflict very quickly. To do this, you just need to give the order to suspend military and financial assistance to Kyiv. If you refuse to do this, Russia will have to destroy anyone in its way, including all Washington's puppets, who illegally continue to hold power in Ukraine. You all must come to terms with the fact that this war will end only on Russia's conditions, Dmitry Rogozin said.